Let's turn to Ian Reifowitz. He's a professor at Empire State College of the State University of New York. Professor, Trump's defense started their case a few hours ago by really slamming the House managers for their case, saying they had been showing altered video. But then that's exactly what they did when they started showing video, tampered video, creatively edited, so we could hear the same word from various Democratic lawmakers, including Joe Biden, over and over again. Words like fight. What do you think about that? Is this strategy going to work for them?
Thanks for having me. No, I don't think it's going to be especially effective. The idea that you would talk about people showing video that is edited, which any video is, unless it's playing everything that's happened since the beginning of time, any video is going to be edited. Then they did the exact same thing. Plus, the fact is that the House managers are going to have a chance to rebut those charges when they make their closing statements, their follow-up statements to the defense impeachment case, the defense lawyer's case. They're going to rip that presentation to shreds. I don't think it's going to be particularly effective. I don't think a lot of what the Trump team did today was particularly effective. Showing people saying the word "fight" is a little childish, frankly. It's more like what an internet troll would do than a real attorney would do in a case like this, in a serious case like this. Perhaps they're just trying to please their client, President Trump. At the end of the day, he knows that most of the Republican Party is going to vote along with him, irrespective of the actual presentation. So why bother making a serious presentation if that's the case?
They also made a big deal about First Amendment, protected speech. But just because you have protected speech doesn't mean you cannot be impeached.
Right. Well, there's a couple of points there. That at least is a claim. It's a claim that has, in theory, some possibility of having merit. Right. You can talk about protected speech, but as we know, the First Amendment doesn't have an unlimited right of free speech. You cannot yell fire in a crowded theater. You cannot incite. You cannot incite violence. You cannot incite insurrection. So the argument is that would be stronger for the Trump team, and they did make some of these points later on in the presentation, shouldn't be that whatever a president or a person says is protected by the First Amendment, but simply that this speech by the president, the words that he used, didn't incite, was not the equivalent of inciting a riot or inciting an insurrection. They tried to make that point. I think the House managers made a stronger case, but at least there you're talking about a factual argument over something that you can look at evidence for and make a determination. The jurors should be able to make that determination for themselves.
Professor, a number of Republican senators apparently met with the Trump defense team. Some of them were not even in the chamber yesterday when House managers were making or wrapping up their case. These senators are supposed to be acting as jurors. When you meet with Trump's defense attorneys, doesn't that basically say you've made up your mind and you're not really objective here?
Sure. I mean, absolutely. I think the optics are bad. What we have to remember also is that this is not a normal jury trial. These jurors, these senators, can also ask questions. That doesn't happen in the same way, at least in a regular trial. And at the end of the day, this is not a criminal court. There is no criminal sentence being pronounced here. Donald Trump can't go to jail. The Senate can't send him to jail. So this is about a political punishment for political acts. The political punishment being, in this case, since he can't be removed from office, that he can no longer run for future office. So we're talking about a political case being tried by politicians. Should they have met with the Trump team? I think it looks terrible. It doesn't legally have a disqualifying effect. But I think at the end of the day, we all know that most of these Republicans made up their minds before they got started, A. B, I think we know that most of these Republicans would have a very different opinion if by some reason it was a Democratic president who had said and did the same things that Donald Trump did. Not that I think that would happen, but I think the hypocrisy, let's say, is clear and on display for anybody watching.
And quickly, Professor, we're running out of time. Let's say Donald Trump is in fact acquitted, like most people believe he will. Will that embolden him even more?
Well, look, I think he's pretty bold as it is, to use a word that maybe I'm not using in the most positive sense. I think he'll do what he wants to do. If he's disqualified, if he's convicted and disqualified from running for future office, he'll use that as a way to wrap himself around sort of a martyr flag. Oh, look what they've done to me. Look what they've done for me. But they won't shut me up. And if he's acquitted, he'll say, "Ah, yes, see, they couldn't stop me, and I'm going to say what I want to say." He's going to do what he wants either way. He's going to continue to act in a way that incites anger, it incites rage, and that I frankly think is not good for American democracy. And I don't think that what happens at the Senate this week is going to stop him either way.